today what we're going to look at. So with rations, like think about like you're rationing out components, right? So you have different things that you have on your plate. We talk about food rations if you're losing weight. Instead of us calling them rations, we call them serving sizes. Yeah? So that's kind of what we're going to formulate, is a serving size. Thank you for bearing with all the lovely technical difficulties. There we go. Okay. All right. So we're going to end up learning how to balance rations. When you looked at the nutritional labels on the bags, you saw these percentages, right? On all the feed bags, there's like these weird percents. Even in the notes, it talked about like percent of crude fiber. You're like, what is crude fiber, Miss Leslie? Or there's this crude protein. It's kind of like the raw. Think about, like if something's raw, it's not really processed. It's just very basic, yeah? So when we talk about crude protein or we talk about crude fiber, we're talking a very, very basic level of what the nutrient is. Our animals, we break down that feed into those components. They need fibrous components, they need protein components, and then they have their minerals and their vitamins, right? The supplements that kind of add into that diet. So when we are on a farm or when we are creating a balanced diet for an animal, we need to get to that amount of what we need. So if we have different animals in life stages, if an animal's growing versus an animal lactating, they need a different amount of protein in their diet, right? Because they're going to be using that energy differently, right? All right, so we're going to look at Pearson squares, which is how we get there. So to formulate a ration, we're going to use this square. So what I've got up, you should add to your notes. If you want to leave yourself a page for yesterday's notes, go for it. If you want to just put yesterday's notes after this, that's fine too. So a Pearson square is going to allow us to balance two ingredients. And these ingredients, we're generally going to be looking at a supplement and a protein. Supplement and a grain. So we'll have those two different things. We'll have a supplement and we'll have a grain in these cases that we're looking at. But you can take any two ingredients. If I want to get extra fancy, I can. They have computer programs that can balance multiple ingredients at a time. Because I'm not just putting two different things in my food, right? If you guys look at your dog food or horse food, there's a lot of different ingredients in it. It's not just two different things. And we're able to use computer programs to figure that part out. Okay. Good here? Okay, almost. I won't go, it's okay. So we're going to use this box or this square. Left-hand side, I can already see I've got my mixtures are going to go on the left. Right-hand side, I don't need to draw that particular square if that's what y'all are scribbling right now. We're going to draw our own squares. Right-hand side is going to be kind of the outcome or the product. Okay? So the square itself, I'm going to break down how we do the square, and then we're going to watch a video and kind of do it at the same time. So the first step is this middle number needs to be in between my two ingredients. So if I'm talking, I want to figure out a crude protein of a feed, right? I'm mixing two things together. If I'm mixing two things together, I cannot have less, nor can I have more than either ingredient, right? Because it's going to be a mixture. It's going to average. I only need to add and subtract when I'm doing Pearson squares. And some division. Meh. If I get negative numbers, I'm not going to care about it. I'm not going to worry about negative parts. Because if I'm mixing two ingredients together, can I have a negative of it? No, I can't, right? So I'm just going to disregard that. So first step is making sure my middle number is somewhere in between both ingredients. Second part is to disregard any negatives. Third piece of this is to divide my individual pieces by the whole. Because I want to figure out my percent of my pie, right? I want to figure out what percent of my whole thing is each individual ingredient. So those are my three basic steps. Okay. Three basic steps. So I'm going to draw a little square here that kind of breaks down this, yeah? So on your paper, I want you guys to draw your square. I start with a square. What do I say needs to be in the center of my square? Number between my two ingredients, and it's the desired amount of that I want, right? So I'm talking crude protein. So it's the percent of crude protein that I want. The left-hand side is the percent of crude protein that I have between two ingredients, right? I'm then end up going to pop out what's going to give me my total parts. Okay. So that's what that square is going to help me do. Left-hand side is what I've got. Middle is what I want. Right-hand side are the total parts to get me there. Up, down, sideways? Okay. Cool. So this guy's going to talk to us. Do you want me... My inkling is to stop it as he's going and kind of break it down at each step. Or do you want to watch it all the way through once? Break down, break down. Yes, yes? All right, cool. So then that's what we're going to do. Break it down.
easy way to determine how much of two different feeds you need to mix in a batch to get a specific protein or energy level is so the Pearson square method may be just what you're looking for. It is a relatively simple procedure to go through in working out the feed mix that you would be looking for. First off, just simply draw a square. In the center of this square, place the percentage of the protein or PDN that you would like to have in the completed mixture that you're putting together. In this case, we're going to develop a feed mix that is 12% free protein. So we put 12 in the center, and in this particular case, we're going to use corn that's 8% and a supplement that is 36% protein.
All right, so what do you think you're going to draw in the center of your square, or center of your paper? Draw your square that says 12%.
Mix that you're putting together. In this case, we're going to develop a feed mix that is 12% crude protein. So we put 12 in the center, and in this particular case, we're going to use corn that's 8% and a supplement.
Okay. So center of my paper, I should have my square. Now he's got these lines going on. I'm actually going to make them arrows. They're always going to be this way. Eventually, will you have to draw the squares with the arrows? No, eventually you won't have to. But to get started, it makes it way simpler. All right? And then this is 12 what? What am I trying to get to? Percent crude protein. Okay? So I'm trying to figure out a mixture of feed for my cows or my horses or my pigs or my ducks or my chickens or my dog that's going to give me, it's going to yield me 12% crude protein. That's what I want, right? So when I look at my ingredients on my bag of feed, it'll say crude protein 12%. All right.
That is 36% protein. What we will do then is write the percentage of these on the left side of the square on the upper left corner. I'm going to put the supplement, so I'll write in 36. On the bottom left corner, I'm going to write in 8, which is the protein percent for the corn.
All right. $36%, right? Okay.
Next step in the process is to subtract diagonally. So what we will do is subtract the smallest number from the largest. And this then will be written on the right side. And again, we are subtracting diagonally. In this case, 36 minus 12, if we're going from upper left to lower right, this would give us a figure of 24. If we subtract the other diagonal, we will subtract 12, which is the largest, and take 12 minus 8, and that will give us 4, and that'll be in the upper right corner of the, or outside the triangle.
So this is where those negative numbers don't matter, right? Because 8 minus 12 gives you negative 4. 12 minus 8 gives you 4. Okay, so it don't really matter. Remember how I drew those arrows? This is why I drew those arrows now. So I'm going to do 12 minus 8 gives me 4. And actually is going to give me 4 parts of my supplement. minus 12. $36 minus 12. 24. Parts of corn. So my units carry straight across, but my math is on an angle. Because if I'm going to splice corn and supplement, right, I'm subtracting how much of my corn from my supplement. Okay. So I'm going to have 4 parts supplement, 24 parts corn. How many total parts do I have? 30? 28. Okay, so I'm going to have 28 total parts. Okay.
So this means that the mixture that we're going to be putting together, that will be 12% protein, will have 24 parts corn and 4 parts of the protein supplement that we're looking at. To get the percentage of each ingredient we put in the mix, we will have the 4 and 24 together. This will give us 28. Then we will divide each of the numbers that we have on the right side by 28. We divide 4 by 28. This will give us 14.3%. We divide the 24 by 28, and we're multiplying here by 100 to get on a percentage basis. This will give us 85.7%. So what we're looking at then is a mixture that is going to be 14.3% supplement, 85.7% corn.
Okay. Right, I got my total parts. So I know I need 28 total parts of this whole rigmarole of stuff. To figure out my corn percentage, 24 divided by 28. To figure out my supplement, 4 divided by 28. Right? Did my decimals work out right? Okay. But I want it on a whole percentage, yeah? So I multiply that by the 100. So when I take a scoop of my new food, 85% of that food is going to be corn. 14% of that food is going to be the supplement. Does this equal 100? 85.7 plus 14.3. Let's see. 7 plus 3 is 1 or 10, right? And then boom, good. So I know I've got 100%, so I'm going to be balanced.
If we want to get this on a ton basis, we will simply multiply these percentages by 2,000 pounds, and this will give us 2,000 times 14.3, or 286 pounds of supplement. And if we multiply the percent corn in the rations, which is 85.7 times 2,000, that will give us 1,714. So we know then that this is what it will take to give us that mix, a ton mix that is going to be 12% protein.
How much does a ton weigh? 2,000 pounds, right? All right, if I want 2,000 pounds of food, I need to figure out how much of each do I need. So I take that number. Okay. How do I check my work to make sure I did it right? Add up my ingredients, right? So if I do 266 plus 1, whoa, what did I add wrong? Oh, is that 86? Is that 286? That wasn't 266, was it? 286? Did you check my math, Emily? Right, should it be 286? That's better. No! Boop. I was like, that's not going to work. Okay. I want you to make sure that you know that you have it done. Okay? So definitely check it and make sure you're good. Simple enough. You just got to go from one side of the square to the other side of the square, subtract a little, divide a little. Okay. I'll leave that up for a